Eric Maddox, 38, former firefighter turned small-time paranormal investigator with a YouTube channel. He's more skeptic than believer. Until this case. Elm Street, not the famous one. A dead-end street in a forgotten suburb, where 3 houses were abandoned after a string of non-violent deaths in the early 90s. The city paved over the original records. Locals refused to talk. One of the houses is about to be demolished. Title: The Forgotten Phantoms of Elm Street, a paranormal investigation. I've been doing this long enough to know when a case isn't right. But this one, it felt wrong before I even stepped inside. Elm Street was a cul-de-sac off a county road nobody used anymore. No signage, overgrown sidewalks. The kind of place you miss unless you're looking for it. I got a tip in the form of a burner email. Check the 3rd house on Elm before they knock it down, before it starts over again. No sender name, just that. So I drove 5 hours, brought 2 battery packs, my GoPro, EMF meter, and an audio recorder. Nothing fancy. I wasn't filming for drama. I was documenting what's real. The house was a 1960s ranch. Boarded windows. No lock on the door. Just a nail and some warped wood. I stepped in and the air changed. Colder. Still. Not the kind of still that comes with time, but the kind that feels like it's watching. My boots hit the floor like they were too loud. I turned on my recorder. Case file, Elm Street, entry 1. House is structurally intact. No obvious signs of vandalism or squatters, but I paused. The walls were breathing, not literally, but they expanded and contracted ever so slightly, like the drywall itself had a pulse. I moved room to room. Kitchen, untouched. Rotten groceries still in the fridge. Living room, furniture draped, like someone was protecting it from dust that never came. Then I found the hallway. 3 doors. 1 open, 2 closed. The first door led to a child's bedroom, still covered in old wallpaper with faded dinosaurs. Nothing strange, until I noticed the closet door. There were fingernail scratches on the inside, like someone, tried to claw their way out. I backed away. Then I heard it. Whispering, low, fast layered, like several voices talking at once just behind the wall. And then a click. The sound of the recorder turning off. Except I hadn't touched it. The recorder clicked off on its own. I tried restarting it. Nothing. Battery, 100%. Storage, clear. No reason it should have shut down. I stood in that hallway. Every part of me suddenly hyper-aware. The distant tick of a vent. The hum of a house that shouldn't be alive. And then another sound. A breath right behind me. Not air movement, not the wind. An exhale. I spun. No one there. But the air felt warm, like someone had just whispered against the back of my neck. I left the hallway and went outside to reset. Let the tension bleed off. Check my gear. Get grounded. I've investigated prisons, hospitals, even an old mine. I felt fear. This was different. This house knew I was here. I reviewed the audio from earlier. Nothing. At first. Then I caught something at the exact moment I'd heard the whispers. Faint beneath the static. A voice, not a sentence, not even a word, just one name, repeated Seth. Seth, Seth. Back at the motel, I looked it up. Seth Dana, age 10. Died in 1993 in that house. Official cause: respiratory failure during sleep. He was the 3rd child in the neighborhood to die in a 10-month span. No signs of abuse, no toxins, no witnesses. But what got me? All the deaths happened in different houses, but always the same bedroom. Back left corner, facing the woods. The one with the clawed-up closet. The next night I returned. This time, with new batteries, infrared camera, static EMF rig. Everything felt heavier as soon as I walked in. Like the air didn't want to be disturbed. The house was silent until I got to that bedroom. Then the camera blinked red. Not off, not error. Recording? It had turned itself on. I looked through the viewfinder. In real life, the room was empty. Through the lens, a boy, standing in the corner, head down, feet not touching the floor. I lowered the camera. Nothing. Looked through the lens again. He was still there. Pale, unmoving. His arms hung limp, head tilted too far left, like the bones had stopped holding him up. And behind him, the closet door, opened just a crack, as if someone else was watching from inside. I whispered, "Seth?" The boy raised his head, but the face wasn't fully formed. It was blurring, like static on an old VHS tape. Flickering features cycling through different eyes, mouths, expressions. The camera snapped itself off. I left, got into the car, sat for 10 full minutes with the engine running, both hands on the wheel. I'd come here for content, for a case. Now I just wanted to know what the hell I was dealing with. Back at the motel, I reviewed the footage. Frame by frame, at the exact moment the boy raised his head, a shape flickered across the screen behind him. Not another person, not a ghost. Something wrong. It looked like a figure wearing dozens of faces all at once. Like it couldn't decide what mask to show me. And then just one frame before the footage cut, the boy pointed directly at the camera. I researched every incident on Elm Street. The official record stopped after 1995. But one message board deep dive turned up a thread from 2003, posted by someone named SG. They wrote, "I lived at 134 Elm when I was little. I remember the shadows in the walls and the faces in the TV screen. They don't want help. They want silence. That's what the house feeds on. If you record too much, it starts recording you." That line hit harder than I expected. I checked my recorder. It was plugged in. Still full battery, but a new file had appeared. Time-stamped 4:13 a.m. that morning. I hadn't touched it. I hit play. My own voice, barely audible, breathing. Then a whisper. "He brought you here. Now you bring the next." Click. The next day, I returned one final time. I wasn't sure why. I wasn't sure who wanted me to. Maybe Seth. Maybe something wearing his face. Or maybe I just needed to understand what happened to this place before the city buried it under fresh concrete. I brought a crowbar, a backup cam, and one last recorder. Old school cassette. No tech glitches, no static. I walked straight to the back bedroom. The air felt thicker, heavy, like stepping underwater. The closet door was wide open now. Inside, it wasn't just a closet. It was a shaft. Vertical, lined with scratched wood and plaster. I climbed inside, lowered myself down. I expected dirt or foundation. Instead, I found a hidden room. Concrete floor, cracked, 4 walls, one light bulb that flickered once, then died. Children's toys lay scattered, broken, melted. And in the center, a small metal cot. On the wall above it, words written in red chalk. "This is where she kept us." And beneath it, carved deep into the wall, "Only silence makes it stop." I hit record. "Seth, if you're here, who did this to you?" The tape hissed, then sort of, a voice, not a child's, a woman. I told them not to go in the walls. My blood ran cold. I locked the room to protect them. They were never supposed to leave. Another voice layered in. "Seth's now. She didn't protect us. She fed us to it. I looked up. The shaft above was closing. Not physically, but fading, like the room was swallowing itself. I scrambled up, cutting my hands on the rusted nails as I pulled myself back through the closet and into the hallway. The floor under me groaned. The house was changing again, angles shifting, doorways vanishing. I ran. I made it out, just barely. I didn't stop driving until I hit a main road. Only then did I realize I still had the recorder in my coat pocket. I rewound the tape. The woman's voice again. It never forgets. Then the sound of a door slamming. Then static. Then my own voice, screaming. But I'd never screamed like that in my life. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. I tried to upload the footage, the hallway, the closet, the hidden room. But every file came up blank. No sound, no video. Just black screens. The cassette still played. But now the voices came through even when the tape wasn't in the recorder. I'd hear Seth whispering from the corner of the room. Sometimes I'd wake up to my own voice repeating the last thing I'd said into the mic. Seth, if you're here. If you're here. You're here. Then came the final sign. My backup recorder, the one I left on my nightstand, that turned itself on at exactly 3:12 a.m. I watched it happen. Red light, no sound in the room, until the tape picked something up. A woman's voice. The matron. But this time she didn't sound angry. She sounded pleased. It's been waiting for someone new. Then Seth again whispering, now it knows your voice. The next morning, I checked the Elm Street demolition schedule. The house was bulldozed the day after I left. They paved it over. A new development is being built. Family homes. No one will know what was underneath. Except maybe they will, because people still email me about the story. And lately, one strange thing keeps happening. They say, when they play the video, their cameras turn on, even if they're not recording. And sometimes, when they stop watching, they hear whispering in the walls. Their own name. I deleted the files, burned the recorder, but the static still finds me. The kind that lingers in silence, like a breath before a scream. And every now and then, in a quiet hallway, I hear a boy's voice behind me. Just one word. Next. You've been listening to Haunted Chronicles. If you hear music in the woods, don't follow it. Some legends don't fade. They just wait for someone new to believe in them. Subscribe for more true-feeling horror stories that never stay buried. Like, share, and remember, if you find Ravenwood, you were never supposed to leave. Haunted Chronicles, where every echo might be someone still trapped inside.